Taste the crickets.
This one has lots of
The crickets taste good? Yeah.
Crickets in our food, it's happening. In fact, huge corporations are slipping crickets into our foods already. Whether you like it or not, you might want to know which some of those companies are. I've got a list for you. Another concern that you may not have thought of is shellfish allergies. That's right, crickets, beetles, cockroaches. If you have an allergy to shellfish and they're slipping these things into foods without labeling it correctly, you've got an issue. Billion-dollar profiteering market. We're talking huge, billions and billions of dollars to be made in the insect market. Makes sense, right? Get rid of farms, get rid of beef. These big money companies can make millions and millions of dollars off of a fraction of what it takes to raise beef. The worst part of it is crickets, beetles, cockroaches, they all have chitin in it. Some people call it chitin because that's the way it looks like it should be sounding. But the question is, can humans eat chitin? Can humans digest chitin? And the big question is, does it cause and worsen medical ailments such as cancer? I've got some concerning info for you on that too. And what really bugs me is they're pushing it on our kids. Did you know that some schools are pushing the kids to eat crickets? Now it makes me wonder, are the parents aware of this? More great information on crickets in your food that you should know coming right up. Welcome back to all of our subs. If you guys like information that affects you, emergency preparedness tips, prepping tips, if that's your thing, be sure to hit that notification bell so you guys can stay up to date. Let's jump into this one. Okay, now for starters, this is part 2. If you guys happen to miss this video right over here, this is kind of an introductory to what we're gonna say here, because I've got to get additional information to 300,000 people out there, and not everyone's gonna like a whole bunch of repeat information. So for those of you that are brand new to this topic, be sure to go back and watch that first video. I've got amazing information in that video, and if you've got time, actually many of you guys probably missed the very first video because this is actually video 3. Number 1 is right up there, and it goes over food shortages, what's happening to our food industries, and why we're taking this angle to our new protein, which is insects, crickets. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Lots of people want to take advantage of that. So 2 videos for you to catch up on. If you want to burn through this one, don't worry. I'll leave them up at the end screen. I'll also leave links to those 2 videos down in the description below. Okay, so getting started, I'm not going to lie. Finding information on this is actually pretty difficult. And the reason why is I think they've already put the hush on a lot of these search terms because everything's computer controlled algorithms anymore. You put in search terms, phrases, they will hush those down. And you know, for that information that they don't want you digging up, it's going to be hard to find. And trust me, they are trying to mask it with all kinds of great things about eating bugs. So with that, if you guys know something that I don't know, there's products out there that you found out also have cricket protein in them. Any good information, please share it with the community down below. We've got an amazing community that lets people know what's going on. Let's get going on some of this crazy stuff. Quick introduction. I'm going to show you guys some pretty concerning clips. These clips are of kids at school with crickets being pushed onto them. Some are saying that they're brainwashing the kids, telling them that they're good for them, telling them that they taste good.
You will eat the bugs.
Eating insects could help fight world hunger.
I'm going to continue to burn through that introduction. Crickets are being put in our foods. Cricket flour is already being said to be a major additive in many foods. Crickets have chitin in them along with other insects. Unless you are a bird or a reptile, you cannot digest this. It's been reported on lots of different sites that chitin can have a major medical consequence on humans. There's also reports of big businesses sneaking this into what you are already eating. They are feeding crickets to our kids. Lots of food items already out there with crickets in them. So if you're not wanting to eat crickets, I've got a list coming up of a bunch of items to watch out for. I've got some videos to show you of some scary stuff. And I've also got some answers to some common questions we got on the last video. Remember guys, like this video, be sure to leave me your 2 cents down below. And most importantly, share this video. We gotta get this out to the world. Yesterday I put out a short, kind of giving you guys a heads up that I was gonna put this video out today. I read a quote from a lady that puts it pretty well. On Twitter, the flower nurse mentioned, insects contain chitin, which cannot be processed by our gut. But chitin is a polysaccharide, which is very tasty to cancer, parasites, fungi, and pretty much all that gives you sickness. Chitin is a building part of them. Also, they may contain metamorphic steroids, especially esdisterone. This is not a food for mammals. Only birds, reptiles, etc. can process insect food in safe conditions. Birds' digestion apparatus is completely different than humans. And she puts it out there like that, and that's the concern. Like I said, there's headlines that read, "You will eat the bugs." Major brands quietly slipping insects into your food. And it's happening everywhere, guys, just like this video right here I showed you. They're wanting to ban meat. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It also comes down to the big old one world, you know what. But look at this. The UN wants to ban no more than 1 bite of meat a day to each person. You can watch that speech online. But we're talking like they contribute 75 billion to the economy and 60 billion to our exports. Like, we're talking huge money. Huge money wrapped up in this. Scientific reports, chitosan promotes cancer progression and stem cell properties in association with WNT signaling in colon and hepatocellular carcinoma cells, which reminded me of this comment right here. They're feeding those bugs the nastiest chemicals. Those are known to cause erectile dysfunction. Avoid them 100%. And right below that one, Shadowban writes, crickets have chitin. The human body can't process chitin over time. The unprocessed chitin deposits in your body will develop into cancer. There's a lot of opinions out there that shouldn't be ignored. Another headline warning reads, one of the life's most common compounds causes allergic inflammation, by Wallace Raven. The beetle's back and crab's shell owe their toughness to a common compound called chitin that now appears to trigger airway inflammation and possible asthma. UCSF scientists have found insects, molds, and parasitic worms all common sources of allergies and inflammation. Another article from MSO reads, chitin is bad for lungs. But you dig this stuff up, and what are you going to get from the GOV? You're going to get deception, a lot of long-winded scientific stuff that at the very bottom discredits the whole article. Like this one from pubmed.gov, effects of chitin and its derivatives on human cancer cell lines. Now I read through that whole boring article and it was long. Not much of it made sense, a bunch of this way and that way, a bunch of hypotheticals on studies. And I played a segment of a video in the last video of Max. Remember what he said?
True, folks. There's a lot of evidence that insects contain chitins. Chitins are very, very bad for humans. Chitins cause all sorts of problems, asthma, respiratory problems, all the things we're seeing from the jab. It also causes this thing called glioblastoma, which is a spinal cancer. Comes from chitins, and chitins cannot be cooked out of insects. There's no processing that will take these substances out of the insects. When you eat the insects, you are eating chitins. Chitins cannot be processed by the human body. So if you're eating little insect snacks or eating insectin burgers, you're eating chitins, folks, and you're going to make yourself very sick.
So the thing is this causing a bunch of issues in people? Is it making existing issues worse? Look it up for yourself. Google it. Can the human body digest chitin? It's not hard to figure out that this is not made for humans. And the thing that bugs me is with all of the questions in air about chitin. Is it good for you? Is it not good for you? There's enough stuff out there that points that it's not good for you. And the fact that some schools are pushing it onto the children kind of drives me nuts.
Adelaide, what do you think of the chips? They're yum. What do they taste like?
Barbecue, crickets, and 10 days of cricket.
You could taste the crickets.
This one has lots of
The crickets taste good? Yeah.
And that's in Australia, but it's happening in Canada too.
Where do you find the crickets eat? So there's this company right here in Manitoba. They're called Prairie Cricket Farms. And what they do is they farm crickets and they put them in nice little bags, and then you can eat the crickets. You feel brave enough? At lunchtime, maybe we'll be able to eat it.
They don't even want this.
It tastes good.
What flavor do you got?
I have no idea.
It's kind of like a peanut.
It is, I think I'm so confused. Why does it taste good?
Yeah. Okay,
Wait, which one do you have?
I have roast crickets.
And how was it? Was good?
Now, do the parents even know about this? Did they give their consent? Does a parent have to consent anymore? I know a lot of you out there think that they've been trying to get control of our kids. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I told you they're slipping it into our foods. Let me give you this little quick video, give you an example of that.
This company, on the other hand, this particular company is using a Chata protein. Here's their ingredients list. Nothing about crickets in it. Now, if you take a look at their packaging, it kind of leads you to believe that, yes, there might be something in there, but if you're not looking for chocolate chirp muffins or hoppy Planet Foods, and you're only looking at the 2 times protein or 25% less sugar, this can be a little misleading. So they're not hiding it, but they're also not outright telling you. And for those who don't know, a Chata is a genus of cricket. It's the farm-raised ones that don't chirp and they don't fly.
So as you can see, whether you don't want the chitin, whether you have an allergic problem with this stuff, you got to be very careful. Another thing you got to remember is the food shortages with dog food and cat food. What do you think they're going to start making the food out of for pet food? As you can see, they're already on board, getting the dogs eating crickets. Now, do you think your dog or your cat is a bird or a reptile that can eat crickets and insects? I don't think so. The poor animals are going to suffer too if you don't pay attention. That is, if you don't want them eating crickets. Now, another place that they're slipping this in. You might be going to a fast food restaurant and thinking that you're getting a burger that's not real beef, a fake burger. Well, I've heard that a lot of them are substituting those with cricket protein. If you guys know additional information about that, let me know down there. Now, before I get to the list of some items that you guys wanted to see, some of you guys brought up in the comments below, isn't there chitin in mushrooms as well? The mushroom walls, yes. Here's the difference. There's 3 different types of chitin, and the biggest difference is animal-made and plant-made. Chitin has 3 different crystalline allomorphs, namely the A chitin, the most prevalent form, B chitin, and Y chitin found in mushrooms, which all differ in orientation of their microfibrils. So as you can see, they're not the same thing. What you get from a mushroom isn't going to be the same as what you get from shellfish or worsely crickets, beetles, cockroaches. Don't be fooled on some of that mixed match research, because you look it up, is chitin good for you? And then they show you a picture of a mushroom in reference to that. The big thing is there's a difference. And let's throw in a couple good comments on this subject. Howard writes, don't eat bran wheat pancakes. They have cricket powder flour. I got sick and now I'm searching for a good lawyer. But most of the legal search services think that I'm crazy. They have no legal groups, law firms to refer me to. Now, what I immediately think of is, do these guys not want to get tangled up in this huge debacle? I'm thinking this is a big lawsuit bite to chew. Be careful out there. Joel writes, I have heard that cricket shells is not digestible and it can inhibit the absorption of vitamins in your intestines. Sounds like it blocks your intestines. WAV3 writes, they're using different names other than house crickets. It literally says cricket powder. And it's true, watch out for other names that they're using for crickets and cricket powder. Starchild writes, another one is carmine. That is beetles. Watch out for carmine too. Okay, so let's go through some of these items you can keep your eyes peeled for if you do not want to be eating crickets. Here's one product called Chirps. And then there's this one, Hi, H-I. Reminds you of Hawaii, right? Everyone wants to go to Hawaii. Wrong. Protein powder, plant-based and cricket protein. But don't you like how they call it plant-based, yet it has cricket protein in it? Another one made from crickets is Chopple bars. And some of you guys saw this one on the last video, Actual Foods, cheddar cheese puffs. Don't be fooled, crickets. How about some cocoa chai? protein that crawls. Also, Sens. Another one is Seek, gluten-free, looks good. All-purpose flour, wrong. Cricket protein flour. Company Vitabug. Another very popular one is Exo Bars, exoskeleton, crickets. And yes, when you see a nice little pre-made protein bowl, throw it in the microwave, nope, crickets. You're gonna be eating crickets. There's tons, guys. The list goes on. A lot of them you'll notice by the name, but other ones are being tricky. And like I said, if you guys want more information on this, let me know down in the comments below. Maybe I'll dig into some of these fast food restaurants that are putting it in their burgers, some of these food items that are harder to tell if it's in there. Again, if you guys got any extra information, intel, be sure to let me know down in the comments below. I honestly read through as many comments as I possibly can. Be safe out there, be careful, keep prepping, keep learning, keep doing. We'll see you guys on the next one.